Hey everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to another 2023 official episode of Career Retrospectives. I am joined by my good men, Mike and Kyle. What's going on, guys? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yeah, that's what's up.
2023, and we're talking about 2022 albums. All right.
Yeah.
We're already on technical difficulties. I'm speaking in two places at once. This is wonderful.
Now that's
You'll
talent.
love to see it.
What do you
I
think?
have
You're
so much
omnipresent?
I just treated myself to my own present right there. There we go. So, anyways, I digress. But tonight, for our first ever of 2023 Career Retrospectives discussion, Kyle talked to us about doing Weezer's Seasons project over the course of 2022. They released 4 whole albums, one for each season, hence the title. I'm gonna let Kyle go into more details with it, but because I mean he knows more about this project than I do. But so why don't we go into it? So what do you guys think, Kyle? What was do you know the stuff behind it? What was going through your head? What are your overall initial impressions for Weezer's Seasons?
You know, Weezer's a band that they've always kind of been more of a quality or quantity over quality type band, if we're going to be honest. I mean, in the past 2 years alone, since 2020, they put out, this will be 6 pretty much full-length releases from them. You know, they had Okay Human, which was really good. They've had Van Weezer, which is, to be honest, my favorite thing that they put out. So going into this, when I heard they were doing 4 releases, all with different sounds for each to represent each season, released on the first day of each season, I thought, wow, that's a really cool concept. I was very excited for it. I'll get into it as we discuss album by album, but you know, I think it was, again, hit or miss. Some I thought nailed the concept better than others, and you know, I don't think there's a single bad release in the bunch to say. But going into it, it's every time I go into a Weezer release, it's kind of all right, what are we getting? Are we getting a good Weezer album, or are we getting a bad Weezer album? Because let's be honest, there's a handful of those. Very prolific band, but again, big into quantity over quality, which can hurt an artist. I don't think that they've had any bad releases in the past couple of years, though. I think they've been, honestly, had one of the best streaks they've had in quite a while.
All righty, Mike, what about you? Going into Weezer's Seasons project, what would you say?
It's interesting that the main focus of this project is very focused on a concept, and I feel like that could be its weakest point, is that it sticks to its concept to kind of like to the nail, and it's like almost bound by this theme that almost, you know, reverberates over all 4 of the EPs, you know, be it, oh, this is the season we're bringing, this is the sound we're bringing, and it kind of in a lot of ways boxes them into kind of maintaining that. So if you're not a fan of that from the get-go, you're kind of along for a ride you're not really wanting to be on. So like and don't get me wrong, there are some that deviate from the, okay, this is autumn, so everything sounds like we're trying to do an autumn theme, or oh, this is spring, so everything's sounding happy in spring. For the most part, that's the case, but there are some deviations which are the saving graces, I feel. But unfortunately, when you are so into doing a concept, sometimes you tend to you forget that your mission outdoes the actual product. You know, which is actually kind of funny, because I was watching a Shark Tank episode about to deviate from this. The Shark Tank episode was, these guys have a soap company, and the soap company is like all about giving back to the community, and you can pay how much you want to pay for the bar of soap, and it's all about being like all this good for the planet and good for everything, but they weren't selling anything. So basically the mission was greater than the actual product. You know what I'm saying? So like almost kind of compare that idea to this. Like the mission is greater than the actual product. So you know, in some cases, in other cases not. So yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, going into this whole, when they first said, I was almost like in shock that they even said, "Oh, we're not putting out 2 albums next year. We're putting out 4 albums." And I between Kyle and I and Mike, we all discussed like what these albums could be called. I mean, I still call them albums because there's like a cohesive, I guess, thought throughout them because they're seasons, and each one pertains to a different season of the year. But when I first heard that they were doing 4 albums over the course of 2022, I was like, "Are you what?" And plus, the Hella Mega Tour was still going on. They were still touring like crazy. I mean, Weezer's still touring like crazy too right now too. So there was a lot. They're a very busy band at the moment too. I have to say this as a concept, I really, really liked this. Because it's something we haven't really seen before from a major label band, if you will. We haven't seen something like this ever, truthfully. I mean, yes, there's been like part 1, part 2 albums or companion albums and stuff like that, but I don't think we've ever seen over the course of any period of music in general in our modern day, the past 75 years or so of rock or pop music, whatever, or pop punk, whatever you want to call it. I don't think we've ever had something quite like this. So getting something like this over the course of 2022, I feel like it's actually a really special thing, truthfully. I mean, that might sound weird to call it special, but I was intrigued by it, and overall, I liked. We're going into each one individually, but I did like what I heard for the most part over each one. I thought it was a very interesting premise, and I'm curious to see where they go from here. Of course, and I do agree with Kyle. Van Weezer and OK Human were both really, really great as well. I mean, I like those albums quite a bit, almost way too much, truthfully. but yeah. So I mean, that's just my initial impression. Were you gonna say something?
We did see actually more than this technically with Green Day's Trilogy back in 2012. That right, actually resulted in, I believe, this 37 songs. This brought us 28, just one more release technically.
Right. I forgot about that because I mean, I was thinking to myself, have we ever seen anything like
most this? People do.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? And then, the Green Day Trilogy. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, another conversation for another time. Go check out our career discography breakdown of that. Just saying. Anyways, let's go back over here for a sec. Should we go on Weezerpedia or Wikipedia?
I think Weezerpedia is the only answer here.
They're really needing those clicks and trying to get attention to Weezerpedia, so it's probably good.
This band is. Because I just want to point, someone has to say at some point, the memes for this band are incredible. Someone has to say it at some point.
Oh yeah.
But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the first one, which was Spring. Came out on March 20th, 2022. I'm actually gonna let Kyle go first on this one because I want to. This is his idea. I'm gonna let him go first. Simple as that. So Kyle, going into Spring, new Weezer album, 2022. What do we got?
So coming off the heels of OK Human and Van Weezer, I was super, super stoked that this was coming out. And when it came out, I was disappointed. I'm not going to lie. This one disappointed me a decent amount. Going back on it, it's not that bad. But when you compare it to the other 2 that came before it, it was a bit of a letdown. This, I will say, is the most accurate. In my opinion, I think this is the most accurate sounding to what they were going for. Like, this sounds the most like the season they were trying to replicate, in my opinion. But man, lyrically, this just really did not hit the nail on the head for me. I mean, that first song, it's funny. I guess that might be part of the point to it. The whole Shakespeare makes me happy. It just, I don't understand. It's fun. That is actually one of the highlight songs of this for me, which is surprising. But it's just like the lyrics on that one are just laughable. There's a lot of biblical themes throughout, like angels and the Garden of Eden and all this and that. Has kind of a folky sound going on that I'm not the biggest into. Production is pretty decent on it. I will give it that. The only production qualm I have with this are the drums sound pretty drowned out at times. Not really much interesting going on there with the drums. Honestly, by far my least favorite of the bunch. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that for now. Are we doing songs for each one, or do you want me to hold off on that?
We could do songs for each one. So if you want to go into like the spring ones here, you can go into that. Yeah.
All right, yeah, I'll go into specifics now then. Opening night, weird way to start it. When I first heard that, I was kind of iffy. I was, taken aback by those laughable lyrics. I actually started laughing in the car the first time I heard it. Angels on Vacation, it's okay. It's a rare case of the chorus being by far the low point of the song. A Little Bit of Love, really good single choice. Not the best song, it's just a nice feel good song. Really has that spring vibe. And the other one I want to highlight is All This Love. That one's my favorite of it. It's a nice little post-pandemic song. Wanting to get like the love out there. He wasn't able to during the pandemic. Whatever. My favorite though. It's a very feel good song. The ones I didn't like on this one, really did not like the Garden of Eden. I found that one to be like mind-numbingly boring, and that Just Like Adam and Eve vocal rhythm really is jarring on my ears. And then the other one I didn't care for is Wild at Heart. Didn't, as a closer, didn't really do anything for me. I think it has weird transitions. Not memorable. Weird way to end it. I guess they're kind of going for, because it kind of gets like picked up at the end a little bit. So I guess maybe they're going for, yeah, look at this. This is kind of leading into the next release, and then you have to wait for it. So it doesn't really work in my opinion. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Mike, was this your favorite Weezer album or what?
No, my favorite album is the Blue Album, and
Okay, boomer.
That's probably the only Weezer album I think I've ever listened to all the way through. That I've bits and pieces from others. Unfortunately, I've never been a huge Weezer fan. Sometimes some of there's a certain delivery of vocals, a certain kind of I'm joking, but I'm sounding serious, but I'm coming off joking, that have always kind of made me like listen to a song and go, what the heck am I listening to?
It's music for nerds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like sarcastic, and
Yep.
like, and I've never been a fan of that kind of like, I don't know, just vibe that I get from them. So I mean, I'm sure you guys know already. This whole album is kind of based off of Vivaldi's Four Seasons, the classical piece, dun 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 dun, spring makes me happy. This is this is basically, once again, going back to my kind of like rant about a theme and kind of a concept. I've always been a person who struggles with concept albums, because when something it focuses on a concept, sometimes it seems too like concerned with staying true to that concept, and in a lot of ways it can suffer from like, so like once that execution is not done as well as I think it should be, it's downhill from there, because they continue to double down on that, and it continues to be not meshed well. And that's how I kind of felt with this EP album, whatever you want to call it. First opening song, opening night, it's definitely cheesy and on purpose, I'm guessing. Once again, not a huge fan of that kind of stuff. It's got some kind of redeeming qualities with some of the rhythms that they're doing, but other than that, it's kind of just a strange song. And it just doesn't go well from there. Angels on Vacation was okay. It was actually, I liked it better. Like, I kind of agree with Kyle on this, in the sense that like the chorus doesn't do anything for it. It's fun. It basically it really kind of like just doesn't develop. It just kind of just does its thing. Little Bit of Love felt like I was watching a insurance commercial on TV. Like I really was, and I was just like, oh God, like like I don't know. Maybe spring's not my season. Maybe I'm more of a dark, depressed, angsty, kid with my big hoodie, and I don't know, like telling people, yeah, trench coat, goth. I don't know, but Garden of Eden, definitely, it was just like ridiculous. This is the only word I can come up with it. I literally was just like, this is, I said it, this is ridiculous. Like, I was listening with my girlfriend in the living room and she's like, what the hell? Like, sound of drums, sounds like we're gonna be singing Frosty the Snowman here. Like, I'll be honest with you, like some of these songs, I'm like, we should be sitting around a campfire, and like at times his vocals are like, I'm singing, like you're seeing Elf when he's like, he's like, I'm singing and I'm singing and I'm singing and I don't care. The way his voice kind of fluctuates like that, like da 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 da, like it doesn't feel like he's trying to make a point. It just feels like he's floating all over the place and he doesn't execute. And that's how I felt about a bunch of these songs throughout this whole thing. If I had to say the strongest songs on this one, it'd have to be Angels on Vacation opening night, where like like once again, I'm kind of in the same boat. And then from that point forward, I mean, most of them were just low mid, and then Wild at Heart actually was okay, but which is funny because you didn't really like that one, Kyle, but I was okay with it. It wasn't great, but times his vocals really make me feel awkward at times, and I need like to confirm that like that he's okay. Like, I'm like, is he okay when he made this? It's like, I'm just like, he's going high and he's just making weird noises. I don't know. It's like, yeah. So yeah, I didn't even listen to the Across the Meadow or any of the other.
No, I haven't either.
Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah.
I have. No, I'm just kidding.
You nerd. No. Yeah, but
where's my glasses?
I would say out of all four, this was definitely sitting mid to low on my preferences. We're doing our actual rating last, right?
I personally have a rating for each one of them, but I can
me
share
too. That's the way.
through.
That's the way I did it. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, my rating, since I didn't put it, my rating for this one's about a light 3.75, maybe down to a 3.5. But yeah, mine hovers around there depending on the day.
Yeah, and mine's a 2.5 out of 5. It just kind of just dead down the middle. Like nothing came at me and blew my mind, but nothing was like, this is absolutely unlistenable and has no,
Yeah, this is definitely my least favorite of the four. So JT, what do you think?
Well, we're all in the same boat here, aren't we?
It's like a banana boat.
I don't know what to call this. Do I call this an album or do I call it?
It's actually called Spring. SZS. Hold on, let me get my old boomer glasses out. SZNZ.
Springs.
Yeah, I thought someone thought I was having a seizure, but I was just trying to say that.
Spring seasons. Oh God. We're all pretty much. It's amazing. We're all on the same, pretty much on the same page here as far as like this. I might have different like song picks than you guys, but I mean, I will agree. Out of the four, this is my not my number one. Of course, it's definitely like the bottom of the one. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not like out of the four, that's the bottom one for me. But my standout tracks. I mean, you definitely do feel like. Like Garden of Eden. Let's just not talk about it. It's just kind of like, it's like, hey everyone, don't do drugs. And it's got like that high vibe to it. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a big tangent right now. Anyways, but I, outside of a little bit of love and all this love, that's really all I could really take away from this album. Plus, the songs are really short. I mean, like I feel like that's gonna be like a big thing that we're gonna talk about through all four of these. But like the shortest song on here is 2 minutes and 27 seconds. That's the opening night one. I mean, I understand that, like, there's no such thing as the perfect length of a song. I mean, other than pop format of radio, whatever, like the 305 mark, whatever, right? But like these are all. I mean, when I was listening to them, like, it's only 20 minutes. That's it. Really, that was that. I literally said it loud, like that went quick. It was like
my
what?
favorite part, actually. No, I was really like, how long can he do this vocal line? And then I'm like, that's right, all these songs are
exactly. Oh my God. Mike hit it on the point. I should just stop talking right there. Mike just hit it on point right there.
Dude, I actually like the shorter version of song, maybe for a different reason. Not so much that, like, I do think that if it was longer, it would overstay its welcome, 100%, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't care how long a song is, as long as it realizes what it's trying to do. Like, you could have a 30-second song that's a stellar song. It is possible. You can also have a 20-minute song that's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's those songs that have a certain length but don't do anything with it that bother me. And that's what bothers me with, like, the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that song didn't really do anything. It didn't accomplish anything. It was just boring.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, I'm just for the record, a 16-second song that's great is Built This Pool by Blink-182. Just like, it's a great song. Sorry. No, but this was, I mean, to start, so going into it, I was like, all right, I'm excited. It's new Weezer. Van Weezer was really great. Okay Human was pretty good too. I mean, going into this, I was like, I had expectations. My expectations were not like super duper high, but I was like, all right, I'll give it a listen. And I was out of the four, like I said before, this is probably my least of the bunch. But yeah, that's if I had to rate it, I'm gonna put it a little bit lower than Kyle. I'm gonna put probably like a 2.75 or a 3, truthfully. Like smack in the middle. It's not bad, but it's not good. It's kind of like hovering in the middle there. So that's where I'm at with that. Is that all we have to say for spring? Can we go over to my favorite season of all time? The best season of all time.
The worst season. Go on.
Stop it. Oh,
I hate this season.
Wait, now are you saying you hate the actual season, Kyle? Or are you saying you hate
the actual season?
Oh, you hate. I was about to say, I was like, man, you're
I hate
away
the summer.
I used to hate the summer, and I do love fall much more than summer. But to be honest with you, as I got older, I really wasn't bothered as much by the summer. So it's kind of interesting. Now I don't like fall as much. Like, I do love fall, but I don't love it as much as I do love summer.
The seasons or your rankings? What? The seasons or the albums?
Don't you want to
know? Maybe he should be. No, I'm just kidding. No. You broke me already, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, you're broken.
I'm broken.
Wait, what does it say? Hold on, go back up. I'm no 6 foot hot look all American man. Okay. Is that from are those lyrics from it, or is this somebody just like a Weezer fan?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. We're gonna go past that. So sorry to all of our viewers. Sorry, everyone. I will go first. I'm feeling good right now. I don't know why, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very special tonight. So the best summer of all time, the best season of all time is summer, as we all know that. And going into this, I was like, all right, if we can do summertime, if we can do spring and spring was like, whatever, right? It's kind of like but the sound of it was still there. It was a little bit longer. It was only by like 3 minutes longer. It was because the first one was 20 minutes and like 55 seconds, whatever. This one was 23 minutes and 37 seconds, which I applaud them for going a little bit longer on the songs. I mean, I know it's like a nitpick, but I do like it when, yes, to Kyle's point, I do agree that songs could be a 20-second song. It could be a 20-minute song. It could be whatever. It's just whatever point you get across. It's all about that. And I really enjoyed this as summer's the best season of all time. I know that. Fight me on that. I swear. Because if it's winter time and you're stuck in your house, like and there's a snowstorm, you can't go anywhere.
That's unless the best weather.
No,
you're crazy.
No. Ay. But summertime is great. Oh God, it's so much fun. Anyways, I digress. But the album, speaking of the album and not just the season, or the seasons, or whatever we're gonna call it now. Overall, I did like what this. I did like this a lot more than spring, and I did enjoy the overall like sounds of it. It was a little bit more like upbeat, whatever, and I did enjoy everything from what I heard. My I'm losing my voice. Forgive me. My standout tracks, I would have to say, actually are would be Records, because that's the single they released, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Records. I was like, oh, this is actually great, and I don't know. You might think I'm crazy, but Cuomoville, because of Rivers Cuomo. I just thought that, I don't know. That's funny. Whatever. That's just me. Maybe because it's Weezer's lyrics or whatever. I'm not sure.
Weezer.
And Weezer, their lyrics are great. So, whatever. But yeah, that was my. But this one was a bit of a bigger step up than Spring for me. I'm losing my voice. Why don't we let Kyle go next?
So as you all know, summer is the worst season there is.
Boo!
Boo that man.
But I'll hand it to him. This is a huge step up from Spring.
Yep.
Like massive step up, if I'm going to be honest. There's not a single song on here that I don't like. I think they're all good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the worst of which being like an 8 out of 10 in my opinion. I really enjoy pretty much all of these. And this one, interestingly enough, sounds like a cohesive record in and of itself. Whereas I felt like the last one with Wild at Heart ending that one kind of led you to, well, now I want more. And then you had to wait, 3 months, whatever, for the new record to continue where that left off. This one with Thank You and Good Night ending it like that, it bookends the record and doesn't make you like wanting more. It's great. Lawn Chair I think is a perfect opener. I really like they bring back like the angels from the last record, but now they're going to Earth to torture humans. That's a pretty funny concept. I enjoyed that. They continue the biblical themes a little bit throughout this too. This one, I will say, in my opinion anyway, it's the least fitting to the season. Like when I hear this, I don't really think, yeah, that's a summer record. Now, a record like Van Weezer, 100%, that has summer written all over it. This one this one doesn't give me any vibes of any specific season. It just kind of feels like a collection of songs, which is fine. Really, many of the songs, I like that they're not just straightforward. A lot of them have interesting movements and pieces throughout them, which I felt like was something that was missing in Spring a bit. And yeah, so I mean, highlights for me, Lawn Chair, Records, and I really like What's the Good of Being Good. And Opposite of Me, also very good. Not a bad track on here. Least favorite though, if I had to pick one, Cuomoville. That's kind of where I realized that this whole project feels more like a Rivers Cuomo solo effort than it does a Weezer, and not just because of the song title. There's just something about the song that just felt that way. And judging by, I hadn't looked at the credits on this prior to tonight. Judging by the last two, Spring and this one, the credits, he did write and compose by himself pretty much all these tracks. Production wise, I think that's the biggest fault here. I think it actually has the worst production quality of the four. It ends up sounding more flat than the others did. And again, the drums here sound very electronic. Like it sounds like they were just 100% just thrown in like Pro Tools. Like, oh, here you go. That is something that is corrected moving forward, but definitely my least favorite production, but definitely a big step up. I give this one probably a 4.25, maybe down to a 4, but yeah, that's where I stand with that one.
Mike. This is your favorite season.
Yo. My arm is disappearing. Oh, there it is. I just lost my arm. So summer is it's not my favorite season, but it's up there with it's competing with fall in real life. For the albums of Weezer's seasons project, this is my least favorite of the 4. And I know that's got to be shocking to all you guys over there. Yes, I know. Of course, I have to be the freaking villain all the time. Was born this way, like Lady Gaga. But anyway, I digress. This just felt like, once again, I agree with Kyle in the sense that it didn't feel like it stuck to its theme. It felt a lot flatter production wise, and it just kind of it opens with this horrible lawn chair song that I was just like,
Whoa,
is it a
whoa.
song? I'm sorry. It was like, I was just like, is this even a song? Like, it's just like, it's just kind of, I don't know. Like, it was just strange. And then Records is like the first, I feel like the first song that feels very kind of, it feels a little more commercial, a little more like gimmicky. Like, oh, my records in my, going around. And I was just like, it felt like very kind of like influenced by like today's radio kind of, but with the Weezer kind of style on it. The drums are horrible in this, absolutely. I was like, dude, I was comparing the drums to another one and comparing to this, and I was just like, it's almost like it's a completely like, this drummer is actually here and this one is has been like, yeah, like pro tooled in, like it just felt lifeless. So
Even just to add to that real quick, even the backing vocals on this, you could tell it's not even the other band members. It's just him doing his own backing vocals as well, which that's something that I noticed and kind of bothered me.
Yeah, it feels like a lonely man, like writing whatever his random thoughts in his head, and that kind of was where I definitely feel like on the outside looking in when I listen to this, it feels like I can't share in its thoughts because its thoughts are very exclusive to what one person is viewing around their life, and they're being very cryptic at times, and then they're being specific in others. And I'm sure their fan base is like, oh, you just don't know that I looked into the back the origins of each song and I understand what he was talking about in each one. It's like, great, you have time for that, but I'm not going to do that. So so I mean, so for the most part, I mean, What's the Good of Being Good and Cuomoville were some of my least favorite songs here, as well as Lawn Chair, and then Records and Blue Like Jazz were okay, although if you take the J off of jazz, never mind. It was it was okay. It was just definitely my least favorite of it. It just wasn't what I was after, and I personally couldn't take much away from here. This one, I just was not feeling it. So
I love how it says that it was released on June 12th, 2022. Fans discovered short snippets from the album in the source code from Cuomo's web browser game Weasel. That's incredible.
What a community.
God, if you're a diehard Weezer fan, we salute you.
Yeah, they're probably gonna come on here and crucify me. Oh well. Get in
How
line
could
with
you not like summer?
Get in the line. The Swifties I've already been threatened, and cut my electric off. Things of that
Well,
matter.
Mike, I could take this villain role from you right now.
Hmm.
Pinkerton is a horrendous album.
Yes, there you go. Yes,
the early reviews of Pinkerton were correct. It sucks. You're all just hipsters that like to look back on it and think it's better than it was.
Aggro to Kyle. Aggro to Kyle. Aggro to Kyle.
Yep, take it. I'll take the brunt of that one.
People
awesome.
are going to riot. I agree with you, but people are going to riot. All right, that was summer. Let's jump over to fall or autumn.
Wait, I didn't give my rating, did I?
Oh, hold on.
Oh no,
sorry.
you did not.
Oh yeah. It is definitely a 2 out of a 5 for me. That's definitely where I'm sitting on it. And it was at a 2.2, but then like I do that thing where I deduct points. And no, like I said, I'm not a huge concept guy unless the concept is working for me. This felt like the concept wasn't there, which gave it a negative point. I'd rather hate a concept like everything could sound like summer, like, yeah, let's make it sound like summer, like let's talk every song, let's mention sitting in the car hot, like be really obvious with it and it'll be like a summer thing, right? And I would hate it more but be happier that they're sticking to a concept, but they didn't do like it's like a weird thing, like
you have a concept addiction.
I felt like there was no concept of summer on here for the most part, other than like Records. I think Records may have been like the one song that I kind of felt that on.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I think of summer, and maybe this is just me, I think of like more amped up, fun music, kind
Yeah.
of like along the lines of like your Van Halen's like 1984 and like their previous releases. That's what I think we like of summer. I think like having fun, and I feel like these tracks didn't really do that, which they've proven that they could do. Literally the project before this one. So I don't know what the disconnect was. I just really didn't get a vibe of that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, everything you guys just said, 100%. No doubt. All right, we're good to go to autumn.
Yeah, why don't you start it off, JT, huh?
Oh my God, it's my
Notice
turn.
that smark right there.
It's my turn, everyone. Let's make the J-Man start it
Reach
off.
through.
We just threw the camera. JT, you will do this.
You will be the first to do it.
You will be the first, Biden. I'm sorry. Anyways, autumn, the third of the 4 seasons, which is my second favorite season, should be fall. Just saying. If any fall supporters out there. Oh God. So not gonna lie, I was listening to it September 22nd, 2022. All right. So we got spring, somewhat of a disappointment. Kind of in the middle ground, if you will. Summer, excuse me. Summer was better for the most part, and it got better. I would say that this one was somewhere in between. For me, I really liked it overall, but as far as putting it in the sequence we have so far, I would go summer, autumn, spring, and then I'll get to winter when we get there. But this one is I feel like this one was better than spring, but for me personally, not as good as I shouldn't say not as good, if not just as good as summer for me. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit. I'm full disclosure. You could definitely feel like the fall. I was about to say faller. That's not a word. Fall vibes, if you like this, like the fallish autumn vibes, because Mike keeps bringing up concepts. The fact that if you're going to do a seasons project and you're going to do spring, summer, autumn, and winter, I expect like my mind like precursors already to like, you should definitely do like at least have it sound like the fall, have like a breezy on, and there were some elements
Add
of like
wind with leaves. I don't know.
and fire and wind everywhere and all the leaves. Nothing better than the breeze of the fall. I don't know. God, I'm losing my mind already. But I did enjoy this one quite a bit. I mean, it was beneath summer for me, but it was above spring. That's where I'm ranking it so far. But the tracks overall, I mean, like 7 tracks. Some of these titles I just feel like rip off other songs, like "Should She Stay or Should She Go," "Should I Stay or Should I Go," or "Run Reverend Run," or "Run Run Rudolph," whatever. Like I feel like I was getting some weird vibes of titles in there coming off of me. But I did enjoy. I can't really find a bad song in here. Like these 2 guys that I'm with, they rate every song. I don't really do that per se, but I will say though that I did enjoy a majority of these songs. I enjoyed the first, like there wasn't really one that overshadowed another. I just said, okay, I listened to all 24 minutes of it. I liked what I heard. Nothing too bad there. I am surprised though that Desmond Child's name is in one of these songs. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He is the co-writer of so many hit songs. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He co-wrote "Living on a Prayer," "You Give Love a Bad Name." He co-wrote "Crazy" by Aerosmith.
Wow.
He co-wrote. For those who are listening or whatever, do some research on Desmond Child. He has been around the block as far as like he co-wrote like songs with Adele or Rihanna. Like he's a world-renowned hit-making songwriter. He actually co-wrote "I Was Made for Loving You" by Kiss.
Wow.
I don't know if you knew that. So I'm still seeing his name on a Weezer. Yeah, he was, that was his first big thing with Kiss, but his first big like, oh, I'm Desmond Child, I can write hit songs. It was his thing. So, and just on a side note, Paul Stanley recommended to John Bon Jovi that he works with Desmond Child, and they got Slippery When Wet. Just saying. Side note. But so seeing Desmond Child's name here on What Happens After You, I was like, it kind of like surprised me a little bit. I didn't realize he co-wrote it, which was a shock because he is a hit songwriter for, as I just mentioned, tons of other artists. So seeing his name on here was a bit of a surprise because that song, like his songs always stand out to me, like with what he does, with what Desmond does, it always stands out to me. So I seeing his name on this now, I was like, oh, that makes more sense now. So I don't know. That's just me. But overall, I did like what I heard. I liked the overall, like, we're getting close to winter. I know Kyle's ready for winter. But yeah, I enjoyed this overall for what I liked it though. It was better than spring, but not as just under summer for me. I want to let Mike go next. Mike, what do you got?
All right.
He's gonna rip it apart. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, yeah. But oh, wait, what's that? Oh, yeah, what was that noise? There's a bell went off. That means this of the albums has a 10 out of 10 on it out of all the ones they've done so far here. I mean, that's interesting. All right, so here we are. Autumn, the leaves are blowing, the wind is howling, and the fire is crackling. Where he starts off with, Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me. Actually enjoyed this song. It's not like punchy in the face, like amazing, but it's got a good upbeat kind of like quality to it. I actually enjoyed that song and was actually surprised at, like, okay, Get Off on the Pain, a little annoyed at the repetition of saying get off on the pain, get off on the pain, I get off on the pain. I get it. You're a 6 at this. No, I don't know. But not that was an okay song. Didn't hate it, but didn't love it. But still like grooving. And then boom, our number 10 out of 10. Of course, written by Mr. Desmond Child. I really enjoyed this song. It's funny how he helped write it because it actually feels like a song that has a natural progression from one to the other, where like when I listen to the other songs, it just feels so like someone who wrote it didn't understand. Like when you write a song, you have to start off with an opening and then you kind of transition to the bridge and then you go to the chorus and then you like, it feels like someone just diddling with their guitar at times, like not to spoil something, but we'll go to Winter with I Want a Dog. It just feels like someone like sitting in a chair, like, you know what I mean? Like kind of just strumming their guitar, singing to themselves, where like, and I get it, it's winter, it's quiet and played down, but it's just not good of a song for that. Whereas this one, it just has like good structure to it. I like the high vocals in it. They sound natural, like whereas like before his high vocals sounded awkward, these ones actually sound good. So yeah, great song, like best of the three so far. Francesca, however you want to say that.
Discography.
Decent, yeah, discography for 500 Chip. Francesca, is okay. Should she stay or should she go? I actually like the vibe of that song. The rest of these songs I wasn't a huge fan of. Tastes Like Pain. Once again, this guy's got some obsession with pain. I don't know what's going on here. And Run Raven Run was okay, but I mean, solid opening, good structure. Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me. It kind of has like that same kind of feel to it. I was liking this, man. This was actually for the first time I was just like, fine, thank you. Like a song that feels like it goes somewhere and it develops into a part, like versus like them feeling like they're just kind of like scattered in a mess, you know what I mean? So so for me, this was definitely like I would say borderline 3.5 out of 5. It could even pop up to a little bit higher, maybe 3.8. If I re-listened to it a bit, but because of the ending and just because overall just like some in-betweens that were okay. None of it's like mind-boggling, but it's the best I've heard so far. of the three we've mentioned.
Cool. And Kyle.
Kyle's gonna do it.
He's gonna be the
All right.
villain.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
I couldn't agree with Mike more about
Yes.
the start to this record. It starts with 3 10 out of 10s for me. I love all those. Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me. One of the best. Same with Get Off on the Pain. Love it. And What Happens After You. Incredibly written pop song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. This is the one record of the 4 that doesn't have a single from it. I don't know why they would have put so much attention into that song to not release it as a single. It doesn't make sense to me. I could actually see being a big single. It has I could even see that potentially crossing over into a pop market. It's very well written and executed. And that's where they kind of lose me after that. Unfortunately, Francesca, it's good. It's nowhere near as strong as the beginning 3, but it's good. Should She Stay or Should She Go it's a nice vibe. It's nice to have on the background, but I could never. The song itself it's okay, but I like the vibe too. It's very relaxing and nice.
Exactly.
Which brings me to Taste Like Pain, which is in my bottom 3 songs from this entire project. One of the others being Garden of Eden, and one we'll get into on the next record. It does pick up a little bit with Run Raven Run at the end, which I do enjoy. I put that one in the same category about like Francesca. I really wish they could have captured that magic of those first 3 songs for all of these though. But you can't expect every album or most albums to have just straight 10 out of 10s throughout. That's very rare. Do I like this as much as Summer? No. I think the highs are much higher than the highs in Summer, but I think the lows are a little bit lower, where Tastes Like Pain really brings down my rating. Should She Stay or Should She Go is lower than I think almost anything on Summer for me as well. So it does bring it down a little bit. So I put it in between Summer and Spring. Production wise, though, this is a massive step up. The drums actually, you could tell there's an actual drummer. And if there is not, then they just did a much better job at hiding that. But the drums sound real. It doesn't sound flat anymore. I feel like the concept is back a bit. I still stand by the fact that I think that Spring is the one that hit what they were going for the best. Maybe because they are just nerdy people, and that was a very nerdy, like Shakespearean thing going on. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But this one does definitely succeed. It does give you more of a fall vibe than Summer did Summer. And for me, I give this a 4 out of 5.
Nice.
It's really just those middle 2, I guess not even middle. Should She Stay or Should She Go and Taste Like Pain really dragged that score down for me, especially with them being back to back. And towards the end, it just kind of makes me want to go back and repeat the first 3-4 songs again.
There you go.
Well,
also, I do want to point out real quick, I almost forgot. This feels removed. And this is something that we'll see with Winter 2. This feels removed from the other 2 releases. Because that theme
that's isolated.
In the first 2, there was a clear like biblical angels thing going on. And it's just gone here. It's just gone. They just kind of seem to have dropped it. I don't know if that was an intentional thing. Maybe they changed their mind as they were writing things around. But I thought that was really notable considering on Spring they had like Angels on Vacation. They brought that back for the opening of Summer. I was like, all right, that's probably gonna be like a trend throughout all these.
Right.
And then nope, just doesn't appear again.
Good point.
All righty. Well, here we go. We're going to the worst season yet. Winter.
Worst season album or worst season?
Worst season on
Both.
Earth, baby.
Both.
Oh, ooh.
Really?
He's ready to be the villain here.
I think Kyle needs to
I will
start
be the
this off
villain here.
Sorry.
All right, well, tell you what. On that note, let's let Kyle go first, man. Here we go.
Yeah. So I love Winter, the season, and the album. This
Oh, there you go.
this one is really interesting to me because I also feel like this one does hit the nail on the head with the season. This does feel very winterish for the most part. There are a couple tracks removed from that I question, but as a whole, I think it does what it does very well. Production wise, I think it's same quality as Autumn, and this toes the line between Summer and Autumn, where I wish Summer had the better production and I wish Autumn was more consistent. This does both perfectly for me. All but one song on here were straight 10 out of 10s for me. All but one. It was almost that album, but it has my least favorite song of the entire project, which was Sheraton Commander.
Yeah,
Sheraton
it's barely
Commander
a song.
may be one of my least favorite Weezer songs I've ever heard.
I hate this.
I don't know. I hate this song. I
There you
don't know if it is the way he sings it. I can't even like pinpoint exactly what it is. It just drives me insane. It brings down the energy completely. I hate it. Maybe it's the way he sings George Washington. Just can't stand it. Other than that, I love everything else about this. It sounds like a classic Weezer record, up there with, I would say, their best ones. And Mike, I know you're gonna have some things to say about this one, but I actually like I Want a Dog. I actually enjoy it. And what I do like about it is, like you said, it just seems like a guy sitting there writing a song. And I enjoy that. I feel like, other than Can't Dance, Don't Ask Me, I feel like that's how all of these have started off. I feel like that's a consistent thing throughout, with the exception of Autumn. All the songs have sounded like some dude just kind of sitting there writing the first thing coming to his head. Iambic Pentameter, really good. But my favorite of all of them, Dark Enough to See the Stars. This is a top tier Weezer track, lyrically, instrumentally, vocally. Gotta put it up there, like way up there. And the Deep and Dreamless Sleep, very, very well done. I think it's a great way to end it, especially as an end to the whole project, where you see spring. The first thing we heard from this project was a man singing about how Shakespeare makes him happy. And then we end it with a song just about straight up death. And I think it's very poetic. I think it's great. Everything about this one I love. I wish that Sheraton Commander didn't drag it down. So because of that, because this one damn song, I gotta give it 4.5. Favorite seasons project. Could have been a perfect 10 out of 10 album, but here we are, 4.5.
Rivers Cuomo, we blame you.
Yeah, Rivers Cuomo. You're more like a stream or a small brook. You freaking.
You're not a real guitar player. What are you talking about?
Also, I do think that there were better single choices than I Want a Dog, though. As much as I really like that song,
Yeah,
probably not the best one on here for a single.
they performed it
I'll admit that
on
one.
Jimmy Kimmel. They performed it on there, and I was Jimmy Kimmel actually had one song from each of their 4 seasons on his show, so he was dedicated to having them all.
He was determined to be a Weezer.
Gotta catch them all.
Gotta catch them all. That's it. Laffy. Hashtag.
Oh man,
Hashtag
Mike, are you
justice for Flappy?
Justice for
Laffy. Go.
Flappy. Mike, are you the villain here or no?
I mean, definitely I'm gonna be the villain. You know me. Yes. So this is once again the one who suffers from its theme and its kind of overall can't think of that word I was using before. It's concept. And it definitely is just a mess. It's just a mess. It's just like I Want a Dog is just kind of just cringe. It's just cringe, man. It's just like singing happy birthday to yourself. Happy birthday to you. Like, we're gonna get copyright because of that. It literally feels just like somewhat like this album almost feels like Christmas album for people who don't want to acknowledge that Christmas is like a religious, it's about like things of, you know what I mean? It feels like, it feels like it's trying to be like Christmassy, but not.
I mean,
In a
yeah,
lot
one
of
of the
the
songs
ways.
even used Christmas melodies in it.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, like,
That's why I love it. I love Christmas.
and yeah, and like, and it's funny because I would love a Christmas album outside of this in any other time, but because it's got these moments where it just drops into like their Weezer sound, it's jarring and it takes me out of the sounds that they're bringing that are like Christmas or like that are classical. And I am a huge fan of classical music and rock. Huge, absolutely mega fan of it. And it just completely misses the mark in this whole project. There's some real strange songs on this. Iambic Pentameter is just weird. And it's just once again, it's just he has no idea where he's going. He's just kind of drifting winter, like drifting out there, like basketball is so weird. And I'll be honest with you, I almost have a guilty pleasure for this song. I have a guilty pleasure because it's just like it's strange, and I don't know why, but it makes me laugh in a way. I'm like laughing at it, but I enjoy laughing at it, and it's almost like liking something for the sake of hating it. You know what I mean? Like where it's just like,
welcome to listening to Weezer.
You're right. Like it's just like I'm laughing at you, but I'm having a good time. So like the mark is higher for some reason. Sheraton Commander is literally just is so pretentious and such a it's just such a it's just weird and just not good. So yeah, like I don't know what the hell they're going for there, but it's just very weird. And then Dark and Sea Stars, I liked the chorus. I actually enjoyed the melody there. It's almost like that's all they got, and I was hoping that it would start with something and then lead to that part. It started with the initial melody, and the initial introduction to it was just kind of once you get to the melody, it's good, but then it overstays its welcome. And unfortunately, it's not enough to hold that song up. So I'd say overall for this one, I mean, I'd probably say Dark Enough to See the Stars is in there. Basketball by some strange force is there. The one that got away, I'm glad it did. And then the deep and dreamless sleep put me to sleep. But besides that, like, I mean, it's not a horrible album. It's very mid. It's very 5 out of 10. It's at times it goes, there's a couple 4s in there. So for me, I'm like I want to give this like a 2 out of 10, but 2 out of 10, 2 out of 5. But for the sake of uniformity, I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 for staying on its concept. And I was disappointed with this because when Kyle, like, no jab at Kyle, but Kyle was like, I think I heard him say that he loved this one. So I was like, like I wonder if it's, but I think it fits right in the, if Kyle loves it, I generally hate it, but
Yeah,
but I don't know. We've been breaking from our traditions recently. Like I love that song. Oh, you love it too. And I'm like, what happened? And then like it all degrades down to something else. But I mean, like I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I see there being a time where we're both absolutely enthralled by an album. It's coming. We're I don't know if I'm announcing this too early because we haven't really agreed to it, but an idea that we've had for the next couple of videos as we wait for releases done in 2023 is doing each one of us doing a 10 out of 10 album, the album we think is an absolute classic. And who knows, we might just find that perfect album we both love. Kyle, who knows? I have hope. So yeah.
One day it'll happen.
Yeah, one day it'll happen. Yeah.
I did think you would like Winter a bit more, to be honest.
I know. I thought so too, but
the amount of like they really turned like the classical influence up a lot on this one. It was in the other ones too, Not so much in summer, a little bit there.
Yeah. And that's why I
But
think why
this one they really turned it up. I was like, oh, Mike's for sure gonna like this one the best.
I know, and I think that's why I liked it, at least because I like classical music in rock or metal, but the metal or rock has to accommodate it in a way. In a lot of ways, it's anemic kind of like kind of stuff. Just doesn't fit with my classical. My classical is very upbeat, like quick guitars, and they did a little bit of that. One of the songs they went off on a real kind of like rock opera kind of thing. And I wasn't hating it, but at the same time I was like, I should be loving this, and I'm not. What's wrong with me? I'm broken. But I'm like, it's just I don't know. It's rough. Yeah.
JT,
right over there. JT's over there playing with his hair like a freaking
For those you don't watch us, my hair is really long right now and I want to get it longer, but that's just
me too, huh?
Mike. Shy away from the ball.
Shy away. It hurts your eyes.
All right. Anyways, back to Weezer.
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 Bless you.
Thank you. I love pulling that joke with everyone. Like in the middle of the public, I'll be just like Weezer, and they're like, "What?"
He's catching the winter cold. The
winter cold from this terrible. I'm just kidding. All right. So many things were said about the winter album, but I will say this. It's first things first. I just want to point out it's amazing how the two of them, Mike and Kyle, have like Kyle's like, this is the greatest thing ever, and Mike's like, this just sucks. It's amazing to see them do their opposites. And when Mike's like, dude, you don't understand, this is one of the best things, and Kyle's like, it's okay.
Mid.
It happens. Like Green Day. What? No, I'm just kidding. No. I would never. But going in, I can't stop laughing. I am, as most of the scenario in this, most of these streams, I'm in the middle of both of you on this one. There's some tracks I really, really, really like. And I never thought of I Want a Dog That Way until you just said that. Like how he's just writing at it. So I never thought of it like that until you kind of just said that. I do agree with Kyle that there are some really top tier Weezer songs in here. I wholeheartedly agree. But I also agree with Mike that some of the titles and some of the, especially I'm going to butcher this beyond belief, but Sheraton Commander, the one we keep talking about, questionable choices by Rivers Cuomo. And notice that there's no other writers on this. Like there's no Desmond Child, there's no other members of the band. It's just him. Which I applaud him for doing. I'm not bashing him for being like the only writer on a song. Hell, some people are just good like that. But I do like how it, to Kyle's point, I do like how the whole thing started with the very first track on Spring leading to the very last track on Winter. It's almost like you could listen to this over the course of a whole year and be like, oh, I've experienced Weezer to the fullest. You know what I mean? In more ways than one. But sorry.
You've gone full
way
Weezer.
too much fun.
Never go full
Weezer.
Never go full Weezer. I'm using that one. Never go full Weezer.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, but I mean, outside of Sheraton Command and Basketball was when I first read the title, but not listening to it, I'm like, River, is you okay over there? Like, are you doing all right?
Exactly.
I was like, Winter and Basketball. Okay. I played basketball in the winter.
JT, what other season would you play basketball in? Come on.
You would play it in the summer.
No, it's too hot.
No.
Too hot for me. Oh, sorry.
She's fresh. No, but I first hear me out for a sec, damn it. When I first read the title, I was like, wait a second. Hold on, Bruce. You okay over there? You okay out there in California? What's going on? Are you okay? But then I actually learned something. I'm like, you got my attention. I thought that song was gonna suck. I thought that song was gonna be absolutely garbage. And I was like, no, it's not bad. It's better than I thought. And for some reason, I'm just gonna say this because when I looking at the track listing and I was like, the one that got away. When I first read that when I was streaming it, I was like, wait a second. Are they covering Katy Perry's Teenage Dream album with the one that got away on there? I was like, wait a second. Really that was a great song. That song makes me cry. I'm not even joking. Truthfully. Katy Perry.
Let's leave that out. Edit that out.
No. Grown men cries to Katy Perry.
JT, don't give them any ideas. That's how we're gonna end up with the Teal album part 2.
Listen, I love that album.
I will tell you that their cover, Mr. Blue Sky, was no. I'm just kidding.
Blue album is different than
was pretty decent.
I like the production. Anyways, this was okay. Now I'm getting to my final ranking of all the albums. For me, it goes like this. It goes summer, autumn, winter, and then spring. Spring is by far the weakest one for me personally. But this one, I'm going to switch it up for a sec. Summer, winter, autumn, and then spring. I know I just changed it on the fly, but that's
what was it again?
My ranking was summer, winter, autumn, spring. That's my own I know. I thought about. I had it differently at first, but then I thought about it more and more, and I'm like, you know what? There's better songs here than there were on because there's more of a complete EP album, whatever, of this instead of just the last 3 songs in autumn, whatever, right? But this one was actually had a lot of complete songs outside of Shirt and Commander with Lieutenant George Washington or whatever, So, so that's just where I'm at with that. But yeah, that is my ranking of the albums was summer, winter, autumn, spring. That's how I'm going to rank my Weezer albums. So,
well, I appreciate that. I think we all have spring at the bottom. Oh no, Mike, did you not have spring at the bottom?
I think mine went obviously autumn number 1, and then it was winter. Actually, no, it was winter, spring, summer. Excuse me.
No.
Yeah. Summer was far
my least. Like,
I know. I'm sorry. I had to. But yeah, spring was definitely I think winter was above spring because it still has some Weezer songs that feel more Weezery than the than some of the ones that they present on spring. Spring just kind of it's close to that, but that summer one was just
yeah. For me, it goes winter, summer, autumn, spring. For me, it came down to with those middle 2. It just came down to autumn having a lower ending to it than summer. Summer was pretty consistent throughout, and then autumn started super strong, even stronger than anything on summer, and then just really dropped the ball for me in the last half. But yeah, that's for me as a whole. This entire project, I give it a 4.25. That was very enjoyable. I love the concept of it. Love that they kept us getting material throughout the year in a way that didn't, and I'm going to tie it back to what we were saying earlier, the Green Day trilogy. It didn't come off in a way, at least to me, of, here's 36 songs we wrote. Just, we're going to slap them into 3 separate albums and throw it out there. I love Green Day. Anyone that's watched this before knows by far my favorite band of all time. I enjoy the trilogy for what it is. But that just came off in a whole different way. This, they set out with a goal. He wrote the songs, did everything, and it worked. It, for the most part, it worked. Had a cohesive theme and everything. It really didn't feel like it's just a collection of songs thrown together to be like, oh, look, we could put out 4 releases in 1 year. Look at that. It actually had a gimmick. The gimmick was interesting, and it kept us getting, decent to great material outside of small handful of songs.
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5. Just right down the middle, kind of didn't hate it, but didn't love it, and just kind of, just kind of right down the middle, mid.
So my rating of the whole thing it might surprise some of you, but I'm actually going to give it a solid 3.4256. I'm just kidding.
Wow. Okay,
Wow.
there, Data.
Super
Data, that's
precision. Stop it. You're being too precise.
We're only 3.777899 miles from home.
No, but in reality, this was an enjoyable thing for me because I didn't even listen to them until we said let's do it. I was like, all right, because I was like, all right, I know they released the albums, I know they released these EP albums, whatever. I gave it a shot, and overall, I did enjoy. I really enjoyed how they made it a real, like a cool concept. I mean, I wonder how this feeds into their discography, but still, you know. Sorry, Mike.
No. JT, have you listened to their Blue album?
Yes.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure and stare at Kyle.
I listened to a lot of their stuff, truthfully, but I mean, this is a very cool thing for them to do. I like that they did it, and like we said, outside of Green Day doing this, the last time I could think of someone and doing something like this, well, they released it on the same day, but was Guns N' Roses' Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 came out on the same day, right? I could be wrong about that, but because I think that's like a part 1, part 2. That's 1 and 2.
Yeah,
and the trilogy of Green Day was over the course of 1 year, and this was over the course of the different seasons of 2022, so which I thought was pretty cool. But if I going back to my actual rating, I'm gonna give it a solid 3.25 and a half.
There you go, for good measure.
Yes. And there were some songs that I really liked and I would go back to no matter what. There were some other songs that I was like, okay, and you might put me to sleep with it, but that's okay. I mean, oh, he's wearing it. He's wearing the I Hate It shirt.
Well,
I had to.
I'm looking forward to their project this year. Months.
Oh wow.
MNTHZ.
And yeah,
maybe 2024 will get weeks.
Yeah, weeks. And then before you know it, they'll just be
call
putting
that
out
one. They can call that one Weekser.
weeks.
1
Whoa,
through 52.
no.
Go 1 through 52 on that one.
That's gonna be a long project.
This is every 52 songs in 1 year. That's one for a song for every week.
Yeah.
Weezer, don't do it.
Don't do it, Weezer. Oh, well, one thing I wanted to say, in a lot of ways, because some songs sounded like the drum tracks were like Pro Tooled in. Some drum tracks sound like they were good. Some songs felt like they had a beginning, middle, and end, and weren't just flowing everyone. Some songs they didn't. In a lot of ways, I felt like my perfect analogy for this album was to grabbing a handful of darts and throwing it at a dartboard. Like, it's like some of these got to stick. Some of these have got to hit, like, and I don't know which ones, but like I'm gonna put out too much music where I'm not really putting a lot of care and effort into, and some of them are just gonna be like automatic, like where it feels like they didn't really hone it and work on it. It just felt like very like, let's just release it, like, and you know, this goes back to our conversation about releasing music. The more you release in the age of Spotify, the more relevant you are, even if a lot of them aren't quality. And in this way, I feel like they're just kind of like, why sit there and go over music and kind of polish it and really cut some fat off of it, when you can just kind of throw those darts at the dartboard and you're gonna hit your mark, you know, more so than just putting out less music and you know, kind of not getting as much click and revenue and keeping that kind of boat afloat. So I felt that greatly on this, that there was like Kyle started the video out, definitely quantity over quality, in the sense of more is going to eventually lead to people listening to this over it being actually high quality music being put out. So yeah.
Normally I agree with you on things like that, and like in terms of like the streaming age and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case for Weezer though. I think they've just always been like this. Like they've always just put out album after album. I don't even know what number we're on, if I'm gonna be honest. I mean, this is like a trend for them. Just album after album. They'll release one album while already working on another. It's a lot. So, you know, I don't know if that's the thinking process or if it's just, yeah, this is what we do. It might not be for everyone, but we just kind of put everything to tape and then there you go. Enjoy.
They've put out 15 studio albums.
Is that counting these 4 as studio albums? Nope.
No.
So if you count, depending on how you count these, you're looking at 19.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Coming
Also,
soon,
Mike, you were
Weezer
talking
career
about
discography
Christmas-
breakdown. Sorry, what?
Oh God,
Just,
Mike, I don't know. You were mentioning Christmas albums before. Maybe you like the Weezer Christmas releases from years ago.
That's okay. We can. I feel like they're. It's just it's just not my where my brain goes for Christmas. So, but
We wish you a Merry Weesmas. We wish you a Merry Weesmas.
there you go. Exactly.
Oh God. Any other comments for Weezer at all or no?
Nope.
Or Queezer, whatever you want to call them.
Weezer. Nope.
This is
I'm good.
Squeezer. Sorry.
Good.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, ladies and gents. Thanks so much for watching, listening, however you enjoyed us. Thanks so much for joining for this new year of 2023 and non-stop career retrospectives coming your way. I am uploading segments of our show to the channel as well. So check out our YouTube channel as well. If you like what you've seen here and like what you've heard, subscribe, follow, do whatever you have to do. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and follow us on Instagram as well. Yes, I said Twitter by accident. That's okay. Whatever. I don't care. I said like Tweeter. MySpace. Follow us on MySpace.
Tweezer. Tweezer.
If you really want to get frisky with us, you can follow us on Vine as well. Simply at the Super Review Show. Just saying.
Follow us on Weezerpedia and Tweezer.
Weezerpedia, Tweezerpedia too, which is
Tweezerpedia.
But then, I got to end the stream before something happens. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, listening, however you enjoy us. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Career Retrospectives.